Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, don't forget to like, subscribe, get involved, comment, do all the fun stuff. Today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit personal to me because I get very frustrated. As you might have already been able to tell, I get very frustrated with the music industry, right? And by that I mean everyone in the music industry. Because there's a lot of sort of untruths and myths and stuff like that. Things that people believe to be true, but in reality just isn't like that. So today we're going to go through my top 5 music industry myths, or things that people believe. Things that people for some reason think is true, but it just isn't the case, right? Some of these might be a little bit controversial, but I think these are all pretty spot on. So at number 5, I've got that labels are evil. So by this I mean, I feel like there's a narrative that the record labels are always there just to exploit, just to make money, and they don't care about anyone else. And that they're these big corporate machines who just take the profit from some hardworking musician, right? It's just not true. Record labels are built up of human beings. No different to an artist or a musician, right? And record labels, people don't understand that record labels make a loss on around 90% of any product that they take on. Anything that they sign, more than likely, it's not going to make money. Running a record label is a high-risk strategy. I know this. We run a record label. And very, very few artists or very, very few releases ever make money. And a lot of record labels don't make money. But obviously, when a release comes along that is profitable, the record label has to position themselves in a position whereby they can maximize profit when that does happen. So, that's why you hear of record labels being exploitative or trying to maximize profits or trying to take money from musicians in some way. It's not that. It's just that they so rarely do make a profit that when your Taylor Swifts of the world or your Chapel Roans come along, they have to be able to make sure that they make money on that when it happens. But record labels aren't evil. People who work at record labels work hard. There's high risk involved in working in record labels. Record label A&Rs is one of the most cutthroat, risky, sackable jobs you can ever do. So yeah, record labels aren't evil. That's a myth. Number 4 is that musicians don't have part-time jobs. So this is one that I really wish we were all a little bit more honest with each other about. We would all be better off if we were more honest about this. Most musicians I've worked with or that I know also have a part-time gig. Either they work at a cafe or a restaurant, they work behind a bar. They might, teach piano. Stuff like that usually, right? But a lot of them, and bigger artists than you would imagine, artists who are going on tours around the country, artists who are getting played on the radio, all sorts, will still have part-time jobs because of the expense involved. Even if you have money coming in, everything costs money. Touring costs money, PR costs money, promotion costs money, advertising costs money. So we'd all be better off if we just all were more open about the fact that musicians work part-time as well. Other people have other jobs. Very few musicians are able to make it full-time. Number 3, the third biggest myth is that money opens all doors in the music industry. So a lot of people think that if your parents were rich, or if you're rich, or if you win the lottery, or if someone puts a load of money behind you, then that's it. You'll be fine in the music industry. You'll be able to make it. You'll be able to pay off whoever you need to pay off, whatever. I can tell you categorically that that is not true. I've worked with some seriously rich musicians, right? Usually their parents who have money. It's usually their parents who will pour endless cash into trying to make it work for their kid who obviously wants to be a pop star, right? And it will get you from A to B. It will employ you the best promotional teams. It will give you a lot of money for advertising. You'll be able to make really slick music videos. You'll be able to pay the best producers and engineers. But it will not get you that special something, right? Although there are examples of musicians who have, been rich and it's managed to open them doors and nepo babies and all sorts, there's also plenty of examples of artists who have done it on no money. There's plenty of examples of artists who have just done it with nothing. I mean, Skepta famously did everything from his flat in Tottenham. A big favourite of mine as well, The Streets, Mike Skinner's first album. I think that cost altogether about $8,000 or something. So whilst money will give you more opportunities than not having money, obviously, it doesn't open all the doors that you think it does. Because you get to a certain level where everyone else has money too. or loads of talent. And that's where the stumbling block comes. You need to actually be good as well. And also, crucially, you need to still be hungry. A lot of the rich musicians that I've worked with, they might have been all right musicians, but they had nowhere near the hunger that a working class musician or a even just average means musician has, because they don't need it. Right, the second biggest myth in the music industry is that musicians are always exploited and musicians always have it so hard. Right, I can speak on this because I'm a musician and I run a record label, so I do know both sides of this. And I can tell you categorically that musicians, more often than not, are not saints. You're not saints. There's plenty of times where musicians will fuck people over as well. Whether it's refusing to pay invoices, not showing up to gigs, costing promoters money, not feeling like the rules apply to them, signing contracts for things that they then, in hindsight, look back on and say, oh shit, I don't want that. I think, all right, historically, musicians, I think, probably got exploited a lot more than they do now. But I do think sometimes that musicians want all the plaudits that comes with success. They want all the good side of things. They want the money that comes with it. They want the notoriety. They want the respect. But a lot of the time, they don't want to do the things is required to get to that stage. They don't want to put in the effort with social media. They don't want to try and be creative. They don't want to graft for things. They don't want to invest money. So this obviously isn't the case with everyone, but I do think it's a myth that musicians are always getting screwed over. And for me, the number one biggest myth in the music industry in 2025 is that going viral is the silver bullet to success. Right, and I can speak to this because I have had my music go viral and I've worked on a number of campaigns where a song has gone viral. It only means something if you capitalize on it. And also, not every song that goes viral has any kind of real impact for the artist. Because if a song goes viral, let's say on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, it's been used on loads of reels, but it's just background music, really. There's no content from the artist to try and drive people back to that song. There's no ads being run or anything like that. Then it just becomes a little melody that people have heard again and again, right? Going viral it's not the silver bullet you think it's going to be. It's a moment in time and it can provide a Kickstarter for something good and it can impact your streams and it could, it could be the start of something. It could be the seed that something blows up from, but it's not having a song go viral or having a viral moment is not going to change your life in the way that you think it will. Consistency over a period of time